Listen up, marshmallows. Veronica Mars is back, and Hulu surprised us all by releasing the complete 4th season a week earlier than expected, and I couldn't be happier. All 8 episodes are now streaming. I'm a huge fan of the original series and the movie, and was eager to see how this measured up. Like and subscribe for daily content. The season begins with Veronica trying to make ends meet by working for a wealthy divorcee and trying to get revenge on her ex. The job just isn't what Veronica thought it would be, and she's obviously having some regrets about returning to Neptune and giving up her career for the small town life. Logan returns from his time in the Navy, and things between he and Veronica are a bit strained after he proposes to her and she turns him down. He's going through a lot and thinks that Veronica is only with him for his dangerous side and how that makes her feel. He's trying to be a better person and change, and she's holding him back. Keith is dealing with the fact that his health is declining after the car accident he had in the Veronica Mars movie. He can't afford the health care that he needs, and it's affecting his recovery. Dick Casablanca is back in town and apparently now an actor. His father has also returned to Neptune after his time in prison and is heading up a new group that's focused on making the city a better place. The main mystery of the season revolves around the bombing of a motel, the Sea Sprite, which leaves a 16-year-old girl without a father. Veronica takes Maddie under her wing as they try to find out who was behind the attack. Adding to all of this is the backstory for the 4 victims of the bombing and how they're all connected. One was the owner of the motel, Maddie's father, and then 3 spring breakers, a jock, a nerd, and the fiance of the younger brother of a congressman. Logan gets involved in the story when he's hired as head of security for the congressman. This does lead to some conflict between him and Veronica, as she is working on the case for the congressman as well. The nerdy guy who was killed has family ties to a drug cartel in Tijuana, and 2 men from the cartel have arrived in Neptune to find the bomber. All signs point to the congressman's family though, as they did not like the girl who was engaged to his younger brother and had offered her money to leave. The men from Tijuana believe the bomb was set to kill this girl and ended up killing their boss's nephew in the process. Just when they think they found the bomber of the Sea Sprite Motel, another attack happens, proving that it isn't over. Veronica and Keith think they figured everything out, connecting a real estate scheme that involves Big Dick Casablancas and his right-hand man Clyde to the bombings, thinking it's a plan to buy out the boardwalk. Another bomb attack happens with a guy waking up on the beach with a device strapped to his neck. He struggles to remove the bomb when it goes off and kills him in front of several spring breakers. Veronica reconnects with Leo and he helps her out with her case, which causes tension with Logan, who seems a little jealous. The latest victim of the bomber's father goes to the media and offers a huge reward for anyone who can bring the person responsible to justice. Veronica continues to notice her father's declining health, but he refuses to open up to her, insisting that he's alright. She eventually finds out that Keith has been seeing an expensive doctor in Beverly Hills thanks to Big Dick and Clyde. She tells him to keep going and that it doesn't matter who's paying for it. A 4th bomb goes off, this time at the bar that Veronica's friend Nicole owns. This one is less severe than the others and nobody's actually harmed. Veronica becomes suspicious of Nicole after the bombing and finding out that Nicole had already sold the bar to a shell corporation formerly owned by Cassidy Casablanca, aka Beaver from the original series. After his death though, the company fell to his father, Big Dick. Veronica bugs Nicole's office after piecing all of this together. We find out that Big Dick set up the first bombing, and it was never supposed to kill anyone, but the internet went down at the motel and something went wrong and the bomb went off. It was originally just to get the owner of the motel to sell off the property. In the midst of everything, Logan gets called back to active duty, which leaves the relationship with Veronica still on very shaky ground. After a night out drinking and dancing, Veronica and Leo get very close, but they're interrupted by Maddie, who's staying with Veronica while her mother is out of the country. Logan arranges a replacement for himself as security for the congressman, and it turns out to be Clarence Wiedman, who some may remember as the head of security for Kane Enterprises back in season 1. Clarence arrives just as the brother of the deceased fiancé shows up and shoots the congressman in the chest. Feeling guilty, Veronica comes clean to Nicole about bugging her office, and Nicole's furious with Veronica for betraying her trust and asks her to leave. She goes to Leo concerning something she's found out about the bombings, and Leo asks her out. She declines and then leaves after flirting with him a little. Big Dick offers to buy Maddie out of the ownership of the Sea Sprite, and she goes to Veronica and tells her about it. Another bomb threat is made on Neptune, and Keith and Veronica go to the police department to tell them about the conspiracy theorist pizza guy Penn and how they think he's behind some of the bombing. Veronica pieces together where Penn might be and goes off to bring him in for the reward money. She and Keith show up at Penn's girlfriend's cabin, and the men from Tijuana have followed Veronica and opened fire on her, forcing she and Keith to run into the cabin. The PCH bikers, led by Weevil, show up just in time though and run the 2 men off. Back at the police station, Penn is brought in for questioning, and Leo tells Veronica that he's leaving Neptune in the morning. Keith tells Veronica he's done with the detective agency, that his health is just too bad and he's giving it all up. Veronica goes home to find Logan Logan has returned. Somehow, through everything that's happened, Veronica has decided to accept his proposal. Keith confronts Clyde about his involvement in the bombings, and Clyde arranges a meeting with the men from Tijuana. He tells them about Big Dick being responsible for the Sea Sprite bomb and gives them proof in the form of a voicemail that he left him. Maddie breaks into Big Dick's house to plant bugs, unknowing that he has a security system inside that detects her. He doubles back to his house to confront her, and she hides as he grabs a gun from the nightstand. Before he can find her, though, he discovers one of the men from Tijuana swimming in the pool. The other man is still inside the house, and Maddie goes back into the bathroom to stay out of their way. Big Dick goes to shoot the man from the pool just as the other man stabs him in the back. Maddie watches all of this happen and does nothing. Back at home, Veronica tells Logan she wants to marry him the next day, providing they make it through and that the last bomb doesn't go off. After more research, Veronica and Keith find out that Penn, the pizza guy, wasn't behind the other bombings, but instead, they think it was his friend who has fled when the police raided his place. Penn tells Veronica that he thinks he knows where his friend Don may be hiding out, and they go to an abandoned power plant in search. Once there, Keith stays in the car while Veronica and Penn go upstairs. Maddie calls and says she's found something, which makes Keith suspect that Penn isn't telling the truth. Veronica discovers the dead body of Penn's friend just as Keith makes it up the stairs and pulls his gun. Penn still denies it was him, but Veronica realizes there isn't any time left. The new high school dedicated to Jake Kane is fixing to have its grand opening ceremony, and they know that's where the last bomb is. Veronica races to the ceremony and rushes the stage and tells them to evacuate. She tells Penn to get out of the car so he can defuse the bomb, but Keith makes her leave. He drags Penn out of the car and they find the bomb. Penn tries to disarm the bomb and manages to do so just at the last second. At the courthouse, Keith tells Veronica that he's got some good news from his doctor in Beverly Hills. His memory loss was just a side effect of his medication that was mixed up, and his brain is fine. While waiting for Logan, Veronica gets a text that just says sorry. She thinks he's left her at the altar, but suddenly Logan comes running. The text he sent was supposed to say, "Sorry, I'm running late." Everyone's relieved and they go outside to perform the ceremony. After the wedding, Logan and Veronica prepare to leave for their honeymoon, and Logan runs out to move the car so the street cleaners can go by. Veronica starts to think about what Penn told her as he was being arrested, and she realizes that there's one last bomb that was in his backpack, which just so happens to be in the car outside. She runs to the window to warn Logan just as the bomb goes off, and she's blown back onto the bed. 1 year later finds Veronica having moved out of the beach house. Neptune's turned into an upscale tourist attraction, and she can no longer afford the place. She moved in with Keith for a time, and she's now taking detective jobs that take her as far away from Neptune as she can be. They've hired Maddie on as an assistant while Veronica's away. During this year, she's been seeing Logan's therapist, and in the end, she reveals that Logan left her a voicemail on their wedding day. She sends it to Veronica, and she listens to it on her way out of town.